I'm Danielle Mechanic, and I'll be doing Chapter 6, Question 1. Healthy People 2010 and 2020 call for the elimination of disparities. Which strategies can be used to achieve this goal? What progress, if any, has been made towards reducing disparities, like infant mortality, cardiovascular disease, or adult mortality? To what can this progress, if any, can be attributed to, and what strategies could be implemented to improve on the success achieved so far? What are the challenges and barriers in implementing strategies to resolving disparities? Okay, so I worked this question from the back, from the end to the beginning. I focused on the barriers first. So there are a lot of barriers associated with program planning, period, especially trying to reduce disparities. One big barrier is time. There seems to never be enough time. I'm sure program planners, in the back of their mind, they're like, I wonder if my results would be different if I had a little bit more time. For example, I worked with someone on a stress management project, and I kept feeling like we needed more time, even though we had timelines and deadlines. We just kept saying, things will probably be different if we had more time, but there's never, enough time at the end of the day. Another thing is cost containment. Cost containment is really big for policymakers. They have a big influence on resolving disparities because they're able to get laws, to change laws to resolve disparities. But policymakers, they're always focusing on the deficit because our deficit is always increasing, and the more it increases, the more it causes the U.S. to be in poverty. So the policymakers, they want the deficit to decrease. So they focus on that rather than focus on having better access to health care for the citizens and better quality health care. If they could focus on these things, we would probably have a lot of disparities eliminated. Some progress that has been made with resolving disparities is SIDS, telling caregivers and physicians about SIDS and how we can prevent it, and how SIDS what is SIDS? SIDS is sudden infant death syndrome. I knew about SIDS when I had my daughter. The nurse had to make sure that I watched this video in order for me to go home. It was just about how you're supposed to place your child when they go to sleep. They're supposed to be on their stomachs and not their backs and not their stomachs. Sorry. But since caregivers and physicians was educated about SIDS, the incidence of SIDS has went down 40%. Some strategies that have been done to reduce disparities are laws mandating equal access to education and employment. What comes to mind is people who are handicapped or disabled. When they go out to look for a job, they're told that they don't have the job because they're handicapped, so they're not able to do the job better than or as good as someone who is not handicapped. And this discourages people, and then that causes the disparity. The people who are handicapped, they're not working because they feel like they can't get a job. They can't work anywhere because someone deterred them from that, telling them that they can't do this specific job. Another thing is laws that not allowing racial discrimination in public places. This can help reduce disparities as well, because an example would be me going to a doctor's office. If someone in front of me felt like got treated with the utmost service and respect, and they talked to me down on me, I would feel like I was discriminated against, and most likely I wouldn't go back to that doctor's office or any other doctor's office just because I would think that they're all the same. So this can help reduce disparities. Next, me.